Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TV podcast. Today, I'm talking to Jennifer Cannon from Houston, with whom I was having a phone call, and then she finally just said, "Let's record a podcast." So screw it. We're doing a podcast discussing, in this specific scenario, how to grow a community, a dance community, and try to market and put together events for that community. Some of the complications and issues that come through it, which is, at the end of the day, they're all similar to any other type of business, with some slight differences that make it a little more touchy because it is a dance community, which is very social. So before we get started, I'd like to introduce everyone to Jennifer Cannon. So real quick, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
All right. Well, thanks, Teevee. I just want to also say, too, this is very raw and unedited. We are just kind of going and shooting from the hip at this point, just based off of that previous telephone conversation. But basically, I do live here in Houston, originally from Boston. I'm Marine Corps veteran, traveled all over, and now this is my landing zone. I kind of started with the Kizomba in Hawaii, but then when I moved here to Texas in 2016, I realized that there was some challenges happening here in Houston and around the rest of the United States. But my focus was to kind of support and help out here in the Houston area and try to figure out what was happening and how we could make it better, how to support everyone. And it's kind of just taken off from there. And this is back in 2016 when I moved here. So I'm just trying to do little by little as much as I can. And, you know, part of this is growing, networking, meeting some of these challenges and trying to overcome them. And then also trying to figure out how do we sustain this dance community here, making it better and undeniably having these events that just people can't not go to. And I think that's where you and I come in, and we can talk it out and see what works best, what sticks, what doesn't stick, and see what the future holds, basically.
Right. So basically, Jennifer is my opposite, my mirror over Houston, in that we're both trying to just create a community. We're both dance Kizomba / UrbanKiz, depending on what generation you dance it from or what your preference is. But
and what city you live in.
There's a stronger, each city has its own identity almost. So one of the things, I've been dancing for a while, and the challenge with this particular dance is it's so new in the grand scheme of things. It's not salsa, it's not bachata, it's not tango. It's that are established and have decades in some cases of being established, and have people every single day that are searching to learn to dance, and they're throwing events, and you can count on events every single week. So the challenge is, as a participant, A, where do I find classes if I'm interested in it? And B, where do I continue to dance and have fun with this if I take those classes? So that's where we come in. And I've been dancing it for a while, and if it's pretty much understood that if you really want to get better and you want to dance consistently, you have to travel. So me and Jennifer are trying to make it to where you don't have to travel as much. Like, we both live in major cities, so there should be opportunities to dance in Dallas and in Houston. This is some of the biggest cities in the country. But unfortunately—
And let me pause you, TV. I just want to interject that Houston alone has one of the largest Angolan populations out of the entire country. Just because of the industries of engineering, oil and gas, and the school programs that they have. I mean, we have a humongous Angolan population.
So for the bigger audience that doesn't understand why she makes that reference, Kizomba originates out of Angola. And Angolans obviously want to dance their dance or cultural dance. So that's a very important detail, that we have a large community there, but unfortunately we don't have enough events consistently. So therein lies the challenge, and that's where we come in. We decided to try to do something. In the last 3 or 4 months, I decided here in Dallas to try to put together events that play nice with what the instructors are already doing, because they're teaching, they're doing these things, but then the participants don't have somewhere to dance consistently, unless they want to share the floor and the space with the salseros and bachateros, which is another community. And recently, I personally launched what I call the Monday Night Kizomba party. And I just finished my third one, and it's been incredibly successful. And this is despite the fact that I literally just started, and this is kind of the way why Jennifer insisted I go ahead and turn this on. So I wanted to share this information. She wanted to share this conversation so others may benefit from it. Why some people struggle to put on events, why some people struggle to host these things. And I don't argue, it's kind of been put out there before, and I mentioned this book called Influence by Robert Cialdini. For any marketer out there, let me back up a little bit. I'm a marketer. This is what I do for a living. This is how I pay the bills. So I'm using—
Same here.
There you go. So I'm using those concepts. The same marketing concepts apply universally, whether you're a dance instructor, whether you cut hair, whether you do makeup, whether you're an attorney. At the end of the day, it's all marketing. And the number one thing that everyone needs to do is to create an audience, to create an audience of people that follow them, love them. And I think of it as the Kardashian effect. This is the best way to illustrate it. They have such a massive audience that which is now the updated version of the Oprah effect. Whereas before, if Oprah mentioned any book or brought anybody on, those individuals, those books would be top of Google. There would be #1 bestsellers. Well, Kardashians are basically the same thing because they have millions of followers. So as dance instructors, as businesses, we all need to create an audience. If you don't have an audience, then you're kind of fighting an uphill battle, trying to promote your events, trying to sell your services. And it can be done, but it's very, very difficult. And back to the book, the number one thing, especially within this dance community, to really grow your audience and to ensure that week by week or events by event, you're consistently growing in attendance. The number one way to do that is by being a likable human being. What's that mean?
I agree, Teevee. I didn't want to interrupt your flow. However, I do want to ask you a question when it comes to you just starting, where I've been doing almost the same exact thing for over the past year now. How do you feel as a newcoming organizer, where you are coming against these people that have been established in organizing, teaching, DJing, and here you are, a new kid on the block, trying to create something that they've been trying to already create? What is your take and stance on that?
Okay. Great question.
At this moment?
Let me finish my thought on the likability. And
okay.
I'll come back to that. So, because you raised your hand, I'm like, what's that? What that means? Sorry. I'm like, oh, she wants to say something. Did she say something to me? Okay. So just the number one way to ensure that people will support, quote unquote, support and show up to your event is to actually be a likable individual. If you are that, genuinely, realistically that, at a high level with a good amount of people, then your events will probably work. Then your service will probably sell. And I say that because you need to use real world statistics, like how many people are showing up to your event, and then do a real world inventory. Like, am I coming across as likable? Do people even like me for whatever reason? So I just want to throw that out there. Now, back to you. As far as what do you suggest those individuals do, a newcomer, right? When there's somebody
that's correct. Mm-hmm.
Well, specifically within the dance community, because we are trying to all work together, we're all trying to build something. I would obviously recommend that you work with them, you talk to them, you try to make things amicable to where y'all can partner up and join your audiences, because that will benefit both of you. There's a win-win. And if you can make that happen, then bingo, you just hit a home run right out of the gate. The problem, I think, becomes when it becomes difficult to work with each other, or there's conflicts in terms of scheduling, or maybe there's just a conflict in terms of personalities. And if at the end of the day you still feel like you could throw a better party or one that actually serves the greater community, then do that, whatever that may be. It depends on the scenario.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is basically talk to them and approach them in a way that would be a benefit for everyone, not just the organizers, instructors, and DJs, but also for the community. Oh. So I'm a firm believer that I should be very transparent in why I'm doing this. And the fact is that this is for the community and for the culture and for the educational experience and the things that I've learned along the way, that Kizomba is just not a dance. It's a lifestyle. But when you have certain instructors that are not on that same level of understanding, there tends to be a lot of conflict in the community, and it really does drag down the participants within that community. So that's been a challenge here in Houston. And hopefully in time, people will see through the facade and be able to understand that this isn't just a dance, that it's more than that. It's a lifestyle, and we can all have common ground and we can play nice and work together. But I know this happens in every community, every dance style, some more exposed than others. But I would like to say that what we've been doing here in Houston in growing, it's slow. It's a process that's been very tedious and time consuming. But at the end of the day, I think what you said, likability, providing something that someone else can't provide, having the three factors come into play, which is time, money, and family, and basically, addressing all of those factors when it comes to organizing an event and providing something that's available for everyone. So what are you going to do moving forward in Dallas? How do you see this molding and shifting in Dallas?
Well, for the most part, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, and at the end of the day is and being flexible while still doing what I'm doing. Meaning, for example, I've been throwing the Monday night Kizomba for like 3 weeks, and it's been consistent, and it was a success right out of with the very first one. But I don't want to saturate it. I want there to be some desire, some built-in desire, while not burning myself out. So I'm going to move to doing it every other weekend. And literally, this is the first place I'm announcing it.
Yeah.
So, and the reason for that is to build some scarcity. I don't want people to get bored and start like, oh, well, it's every week. I won't go today. I'll go next week, right? And two, it keeps me from being exhausted and making this too much of a job, because I'm putting a lot of effort into this.
And this is your passion too.
Yeah, it's a passion project. I'm not doing this for any money. Lord knows I've lost quite a bit of money already. But because I'm so determined to build the system, build the foundation and build the reputation for, and this is another part of putting together good events, is you have to absolutely make it about the participants, the attendees, the culture, the vibe, the music. And especially when you start off, you have to be willing to lose money.
Right.
Like if you're trying to put on an event, a larger scale event, you have to understand, if you're really going to market it well, you have to spend money on advertising and promoting. Personally, I'm not the type of person that tags anyone in any of my content, which is really common in the dance community. I find that very spammy, so I made it a personal mission to never tag anyone, but rather to advertise them and to tell them, teach them, show them that coming to my events is going to be in their best interest. Not because there's some sense of obligation to support, but rather because they trust, because of all the marketing and the promoting that I'm doing, they feel and trust enough that it's going to be a damn good place to have fun, and there's going to be enough people there to do it. And that's what I've been able to do over time with actually I threw a social about a month ago. We had about 70 people show up from all over Dallas and across the state. Then I've done 3 Monday night Kizombas, and I've had consistently at least an average of 35 to 40 people show up. So at this point, people trust that when I put on an event, it will be fun, and it will happen, and there's going to be people there. So now I can take a step back and start to build some scarcity with the Monday night Kizomba, and while still making sure to retain some sanity, some sense of sanity personally, so I don't burn out, because I don't want to burn out. I want this to always be something that I have. And also, I'm building a team. People have asked to help, so little by little, I'm asking people to come on board and help now that I know exactly what I need. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm about to announce the next big social.
Okay, so before you do that, so Teevee, one of the things I really find to be extremely interesting is that you went against the typical status quo of tagging people. I think we've relied on social media way too much, but that is the new age marketing tool that a lot of people use. So how have the statistics been when it comes to when you're tracking your marketing tools? If you're not going with the status quo, it's not as easy to track anymore. So do you find that it's a population of people that are spreading the word mouth to mouth, or is it another means of marketing that you're really tapping into that most people don't use? And if you don't feel like sharing your trades and secrets, that's fine. I get it. But I think that it's important when it comes to other communities like Houston and San Antonio and Austin, to help grow this together. I mean, because that's essentially what you and I are doing, is we're kind of feeding off of one another. We're using each other's talents and what we know to work and what doesn't work. And so what is it specifically that you're doing to keep it consistent?
Well, first off, I'm spending money. The Facebook, Instagram, and this is what I do for a living, so I was really conscious of it. Facebook and Instagram specifically, and YouTube are the three channels that I'm using to advertise. So between all of those, you're able to get in front of almost anyone and everyone that is slightly interested in Kizomba UrbanKiz. So especially for the first one, it was a challenge because nobody really knew or trusted. Even here in Dallas, I am an old person that had been away from the scene for a while. So I just advertise all over Facebook and Instagram. And every major city, in every city, there's interest. I think there's about a couple 100,000 all over the country that are interested in Kizomba. That are in the audience of Kizomba on Facebook. And it's growing every single month. So you can easily just put together a video, put together some content to start advertising to those individuals. And that's my method instead of tagging, is to advertise. I am of the belief that it's much more, it's a higher return on your investment of time and money to actually advertise than it is to tag people. Tag people or then post in all these groups, and that's another common practice in all these groups that are on Facebook. I find that to be a waste of time and a waste of effort, because in many of those groups, nobody's even active. And these places, and then if you tag people, and it's my opinion that you're basically talking to people in the same bubble. You're tagging people that are already aware. And
right. It's very clicky. Yes. It's very clicky as well.
But because of that clickiness, that means you're in this bubble. So your friends and family, the friends and family that are of that individual you're tagging, well, they already know you dance Kizomba, so they already tuned them out, or they themselves are already a participant in the group, in the culture, and the dance. So you're basically talking to the same group of people. And the problem, and that I see as a marketer, is there's a couple of main problems when it comes to the growth. Is you're talking to the same people, and there's not enough new people coming in at the high level, at the top of the funnel, we call it.
Right.
So I try to advertise the people that are slightly interested. You could advertise the people that are interested in other dances and introduce them to the dance. So that's one way that I've gone about it. I've decided to invest the money now to get more and more people aware of it, coming out, showing them content, giving them FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, oh my God, this looks like a good place to be. This looks like fun. Fear of missing out. It's a real FOMO.
I love it. FOMO.
It's a real thing. So that's how I did it. I advertised specifically all over. Personally, and people actually message me like, why are you advertising in Houston if your event is in Dallas? Well, because if I'm throwing on a bigger event, I want everyone over. I actually advertise to all over Texas, Oklahoma, and all the surrounding states, Arkansas, Louisiana. I want to start growing an awareness around my brand and the fun that we're having here, specifically around the bigger socials. So people are willing to drive out to me because eventually it's like, sheesh, this looks like the jam. Let's go there. Because as you know, for the bigger social, to really be sustainable, you need hundreds of people to show up eventually. Because I know you have a big event that you're kind of putting together, right?
Who, me?
So to try to kind of wrap this up, advertising on Facebook, every single thing I post what do I advertise? Photos and videos. So now I have these events that allow me to create content. I make sure to take some pretty good photos. I take some videos. I make them just fun. And then I throw some money behind almost every single one of them, whether it be just $5 or $10, whether it be $1 a day. The point is you put some money behind it to put it in front of more people that would not see it organically and without tagging. And eventually, just to finish the whole idea with tagging, is you just wear people out. I personally untag myself and block people because I don't want to be tagged in your stuff. I don't want to be used in your marketing. I just don't feel like that's your job. Don't use me. Now, there's some people that are cool with it. I just am not one of them. And I think there's a lot of people like, so here's a quick stat, a couple of quick stats. Facebook is the primary way that people are trying to reach people through tagging. But Instagram, in my opinion, is underused, and Facebook, the ad platform, has told me so. There's probably a 6-to-1 ratio of people on Instagram versus Facebook in terms of interest. So for every one person interested on Facebook in the audience, there's another 6 in Instagram. So I think that people, and I'm seeing that people are using it, but using it more proactively as part of their marketing. And there's a greater opportunity for discovery within Instagram to be found because of the hashtags. So
and that's very true too, Teevee, because I have actually been asked numerous times, do you have Instagram? How can I find you on Instagram? Can I message you on Instagram, or whatever the thing is on Instagram?
Instagram has tips.
And that's more and more the case.
They're becoming, especially the younger 20-somethings and even tweeners,
yes,
teenagers, but the 20-somethings are primarily on Instagram. So
correct.
Using it as a platform to advertise or promote your events, you're completely missing out.
And if you want the newer, younger generations, you have to find the avenues that they use, and Instagram being one of them, I think is a great idea.
Use it if you're not using it. The numbers show that it's a 6-to-1 ratio. On Facebook, it tends to be an older demographic, which is good because then they have a little more money. The younger,
the MySpace.
Yeah, it's becoming the MySpace, but still absolutely successful. And last but not least, using YouTube. I've used YouTube to advertise as well. But you have to throw some money behind it. There's so many people that go to YouTube to watch Kizomba videos, whether it be demo videos or they're listening to music. So the audience is there, and you can put your promotional material. It's like, hey guys, I know you're watching this video, this Kizomba video. Did you know that we're teaching in Dallas? Or did you know we're having an event in Dallas? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, by the way, yes, it costs money. But if you're not playing the long game in this, then you're probably not going to succeed. You have to invest to grow your audience. Once again, it goes back to the Kardashian effect. So the point that eventually you have a few 5,000, 10,000 people in your audience that when you put something out organically, these individuals will see it. That's the point, to where you don't have to pay as much. And I've seen that already happening within my page, where if I post something, a few hundred people see it for free without my involvement. And it's just a good piece of content. Maybe it's pictures from the social, maybe it's a meme, but people start sharing it, people start liking it, and hundreds of people see it. Just because people like your stuff, like your page on Facebook, the fact is they're not going to see it unless they consistently engage with the page. So if you're putting out boring shit, they're not going to see it. Facebook is not going to show it to them organically because they're not engaging with your content. So long explanation, but hopefully something that people can get some value out of.
Right. Now, let me ask you this too, because this has actually been a recent topic between myself and a few others, because it keeps coming up, and I really haven't actually talked to you about this or addressed it publicly, but I know it has been talked about in the past regarding photos and videos. Now, you have mentioned this quite a few times just in this last couple minutes. What I have found is that there is an overabundance of photography and videos being done, especially at socials. I think class time, demos, a clip here, clip there. But when you are taking videos to the point where it's making the dancers feel uncomfortable, where do you draw that line? Because there's been certain instructors, and even myself, I've found where I'm like, hey, can you record this for me? Because one, as a dancer, I want to see how I'm starting to look in dances. I feel like I'm improving. But when you abuse that privilege and people are there to just dance and have fun and they don't want the cameras on them, like, where's that fine line when it comes to advertising? Because quite frankly, I'm almost tempted to kind of do like a pilot social where there's no cameras or videos allowed. just for privacy. And so that, you know, if you have a married couple and you have someone that's going out and maybe not doing any wrong or having any intention, but at the end of the day, they don't want to be on film. What do you do in that situation? And how do you feel that that would take place? Do you think that'd be successful, or that would be too much to ask of participants? How do you feel about that?
That's a great question. I've never been asked that. There's a couple of ways to go about this. So one, Marietta and well, actually, I think she's in Louisiana now, posted something that's been bothering me for a while about pictures, which is that some people are, unfortunately, photographers sometimes release photos that are less than flattering, which I find to be weird, because why would you put pictures of people that are not
having discretion to choose the correct photos?
You would want to put pictures that you shot of people looking beautiful, looking happy, looking like they're having fun. But I've seen instances where pictures are released that are not flattering. And if you catch someone with a picture at any given moment, you will catch someone looking weird. That's just
right.
Depending on that specific moment in that split second that shot was taken. And then they go on to become memes, or those individuals become, it looks bad for all participants. And
what was Marietta's defense in her conversation? I must have missed that one.
Oh, and the point is, like, hey guys, when we go to these events, and the reason we dance is it's a private thing. We're in a moment of vulnerability, and to have a picture of us taken and then being grabbed and memes are created that are used for humor that is not on that people don't appreciate and can be offensive, is uncalled for. You should really not stop that practice. It's a practice.
This is what she was saying in her.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was in agreement with that, because I've seen some go on to become memes, and it's like now trying to take that down or trying to backtrack that once it goes out.
You can't. It's out. It's out.
It's almost impossible. So
and that's cyberbullying 101 right there.
On some level, yeah.
I mean, you could. Yeah.
Somebody said, "Well, a devil's advocate is that sometimes they don't mind." Well, yeah, if they don't mind and there's permission involved, then consent, then go for it. Then go have fun. That's fine. But then there's instances when they're not, and the fact that they're released in the first place where they just don't look flattering, that's just kind of crappy to me. Now, so I have a general policy in terms of photography, is that I will always make sure that the people that are of whom those photos are taken look good, and if by chance that they look like they're happy, like it's something that they can be proud of. And if it isn't, then I will remove it, and if it slips by, I'll remove it. If they let me know, I will remove it at a drop of a dime. So that's to kind of touch on that. Now, with regards to privacy, I feel that it is an issue, and that's one of those things I've up until now have always battled with in anything I do, because I really I'm a little older, so I have a sense of privacy, and I shy away from that. But if you're going to succeed at this, you need to have photo. And it's another core concept of why I think my stuff's succeeding, is you need to show people having fun, people looking like they're enjoying themselves at your event, in your classes or whatever. Because people are going to relate themselves to those individuals in the classes, like, oh, she's my age. Oh, she looks like she's from my part of the world. Oh, you know what I'm saying? That's where pictures and photos are powerful. Now, so I've started to take photos, and I almost never have anybody say no. But the moment somebody says, like, gives me no, or like, yeah, I just respect that and I don't take pictures. I think it can be done to where, for the most part, and I've done some of this, most of the pictures and the videos that I use to promote, the video specifically, not so much the pictures, it can be done in a way to where the individual can still retain some, like, you're not showing their face. But that's tough. If you want to grow it, it's going to be tough. Now, and this is what I'm thinking on the fly here, perhaps you get to a point where you have a big audience and respect, and people understand that you're someone that delivers quality product in terms of classes, socials, parties, whatever. Then, yeah, I think at that point, you don't need to share any of their pictures. You can actually do a totally private, no photos, no video social, because now you have a brand and a reputation. But I think that would be tough right out of the box because they don't even know if anybody ever shows up to your places, right?
Right.
Your events. I make it a point to always, like in the last 3 parties, the Monday night parties, to take a group picture, and some people opt to not sit in on it, but enough people do that at least conveys to others that, hey, there's like 40 people here. I need to be one of them. Like, there's people showing up. And one of the things I think I wanted to do, and somebody mentioned to me based on that, because I shared this Marietta's thing, is that I didn't know I didn't have to be in the pictures, that she would untag herself. I'm like, oh my God, please let me know. I'll make sure to never shoot a picture of you again. So making sure that people know that there's consent. Like, if you don't want a picture, just let me know. Those are just ideas I'm thinking on the fly because of what's happening. Yeah,
I think transparency is key. I mean, if we can't communicate with one another, then we can't assume what you're feeling and thinking.
Yeah.
So moving forward, if I ever have an event, I think what I might do is just say, hey, look, if you're not interested in being filmed, just let me know, and I'll keep that in mind if you happen to pop up. Yeah. And I'll just make sure that it's not out there. Knowing, though, that we are in a public setting, that pictures and videos are allowed. But I think to have the discretion when too much is too much and not enough is not enough, I mean, I think that just goes with the likability, you know, and having someone knowledgeable enough to know what pisses people off and what doesn't, I guess.
Yeah, like, we're in a new terrain. Obviously, we want to shoot videos, pictures because we need to promote, but we also need to respect people's wishes and privacy. Like, maybe I don't want people to know that I'm here. That's perfectly fine. So let us know. Maybe a policy of, like, if you don't want pictures taken, that will be assumed that you want. But if you don't, that you're okay with it, please let us know, and we'll make sure to communicate that to the photographers. But
absolutely,
we can't account for others participants taking video and pictures, and they happen to see you or tag you, then that's on you. But as the event,
that's true.
You know, because we live in an internet world where, you know, you could be walking in the street and you may be in a picture.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what made you select the Mondays, Teevee? I know what my reasons were for Mondays and when I started the Kiztonian Crew. But what about your Mondays? Why did you choose Mondays?
Top reason, and the number one reason, is because it was one of the slower days for these bars and lounges. So I was like, okay, that makes sense because I can make it a win-win for them. Like, hey, give us your spot, lend us your spot. I'll bring people, I'll bring money, I'll bring revenue. And number two is that I saw you in Houston being relatively successful. So there's a model for it. And I like that. And it's after the weekend. People want to get away a little bit. So I said, let's just test it out. And then number three is that I found a lounge that was more than willing to do it. So that's why I chose it. It's just making sure that the location was going to benefit from it. And I was pretty confident that I can pull in at least 20 people based on my reputation at this point, 20 minimum, to show up and pay, buy the minimum that they needed to keep it afloat, keep it running.
Okay. So now with it being a Monday and there was no other Kizomba social in Dallas at that time running Mondays, what would you do in the case now where let's say you have 2 events for Kizomba on Mondays just because there's a competitiveness and maybe in a fluctuation of Mondays when you thought you were consistent? What would you do in that case?
Well, if it still shows on my end that people are attending my events, it's up to them. They're the ones that are going to have to be reactive and decide whether they want to go up against me if they're in the same city, because then they have to convince the audience, the Kizomba world or audience out there, that going to their event is going to be just as fun, or maybe it's a mix. Maybe it'll work. Maybe at that, depending on when it happens, there's large enough audience that we need a second place, and that's perfectly fine. Or maybe it's on the other side of Dallas. That's perfectly fine. Either way, to me, it's perfectly fine. Because me as the organizer and a marketer need to make it more fun, or maybe I'm perfectly fine because it is on the other side of town and we need someone putting it on. I am fine with competition, and especially if it serves the community. I'm not, if you're going to put on an event that's lackluster, that's not fun, is in a bad location, the community, the market will decide. And then I have to make sure to, to make it fun, or to make it evident that coming to my place is going to be fun. So I wouldn't change if I know that I have the numbers week by week. I have the facts, I have stats that show that the people are showing up, and they will continue to show up.
And that's with a free social. So I know there's a lot of people that really disagree with the fact that free is not better. I know for the reason for Kiztonian Crew, which if people haven't figured this out yet, Kiztonian Crew comes from Kizomba here in Houston, so Houstonian, and then Crew as a community. We do all of this together by the community for the community, and that's basically the same thing that you're doing up in Dallas, now spreading it out and opening up for people to help you as you go from week to week or every other week or whatever you decide. But how do you express that to people that don't really see this model or mindset? Where you have a free social, free entry, people volunteering their time for DJing or teaching. How do you think that platform helps build each one of those instructors and DJs and photographer and video? How do you think that helps?
That's a really good question.
And is there any negative?
I'm sorry? What was the last part?
And is there any other negative aspect to that as well that you've seen so far?
To having it free?
Correct.
I have it free because I want to remove the price being an issue. And obviously, if I were to charge, it would probably only be $5. But if price being an issue, I wanted to completely remove that. That in itself will communicate to people that he's clearly just doing it because he's trying to grow the community. It allows complete newbies to come at no cost, no obligation. Yesterday we threw a free class. That's something new. We just added a new wrinkle. And we had about 10 people. About 4 of them were completely new, which was cool. So it was like every week trying to bring in some new people. And by growing it to the point where we can count on 30 to 40 people showing up, and this is why it's a great question you ask, because that's one of the benefits that's coming out of this, is that it gives me a platform. It gives me a platform to feature instructors. So my instructors yesterday was Quanta and BJ. Also, I threw about a month ago, it was Derek and Kaylin. But it gives me a place to feature up-and-coming talent, whether it be instructors, DJs, hoping to use this as a platform to train DJs because we need DJs in Dallas. I'm DJing right now, but I don't really want to do it long-term, although I'm kind of enjoying it. To feature all types of talent photographers. It gives them a place to shoot people, videographers. It gives me a platform to grow talent in Dallas. It's kind of like a farm system in baseball, to develop individuals in a low-key, not too stressful environment. They're not the people there aren't crazy when don't murder me when I screw up a mix, which I have, because I'm learning.
We all make those mistakes.
Yesterday, I threw on a Simba after like a break, and it was mislabeled as 75 beats per minute. It was like 150, and everybody looked at. There's obviously people dancing and having fun, but it was like wow. I'm like, and I did not intend to do that. I screwed that one up. My expression on my face, like,
well, there you go, from 0 to 100 real quick.
So I'm learning. But it gives me a platform to teach, to share. I'm not asking anybody to give me anything, and people are coming like, hey, can we teach? I'm like, oh my God, that's a great idea. And then we can get people, because people don't, it's from 8 to 11. People don't even start showing up really till like 9. So we can use that 8 to 9 to bring people in, newbies. So they offer to teach. I'm like, hell yeah, I can promote to the newbies and like, hey, I know you're creeping. I know you're lurking out there. Come to class, learn the basics. Or after a few weeks of doing this, maybe we have, and actually we have this already lining up. We have an instructor that teaches maybe a specialty class, like on body movement or this or that. Then they can work on, because as teachers, they need the reps as well. They need, they want to teach and they want to get better. So it's the young individuals that are just learning. give them an opportunity and a podium, a platform to actually share that. So I think through all that, the benefits of teaching and sharing and developing their skills, it's clear and evident that I'm doing this. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this. I mean, I want to make enough money to help pay for more stuff and do more cool things. But I'm not doing this to make a huge profit. I mean, I lost quite a bit of money at the last social.
And I think everyone at some level in this industry, whether you're a dancer, instructor, or whatever, I mean, we all lose money in the beginning. I think that's just part of your initiation into this. But there is a way to minimize the risk. And I think the Monday nights, like you've said, is definitely something we've been practicing for over a year solid now. It was actually done prior to me coming here. And that's actually where the initiative came from. And that was when the Brotherhood guys were, throwing Mondays every single Monday consistently. And there was 4 or 5 of them. Mm-hmm. And it was such a great idea and platform for everyone to come to just let loose and have a good start to the week. And it was free, and it did take the money factor out of it. And so to continue that, I was very, very honored to be able to have that culture shared with me, and we could, keep passing it forward. It's definitely a struggle, though. It is a struggle. People don't believe that it can work. When you have it every single Monday, it tends to, water itself down, especially as festivals start increasing. And they're traveling back from these festivals and they're tired. And so it can be hard, but it is possible. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It is very possible, and it helps grow on every level.
And I think ultimately to demonstrate that is just doing it. Yesterday we didn't have, and this is another big thing that I believe in, is I want to develop a community that's at least large enough to not be impacted terribly when people, the regulars, don't show up. To be okay when the instructors and a good chunk of their people don't show up because they went to a festival, or maybe they just decided not to show up because they're tired or don't care to come. Whatever their reasons, once again, I don't care because we all have our lives and I don't need anybody to explain themselves to me. I want to have the community large enough. So, for example, yesterday there was about 5 or 6 regulars that didn't show up. Now, if it was a normal type of event, and I would be worried about that, but I'm not, because I'm trying to grow it to the point where having them is a bonus. And if they show up, great. But if they don't, no big deal. We're still going to have fun. And we did. That I don't want to ever feel like I have to have these 4 people show up or else it's a failure, because hell, that's 50% of the attendees, right? No, grow it. And going back to the cost a little bit, just to kind of, I do have an option that I picked up from rapper Nipsey Hussle, who was murdered recently, unfortunately. But he was a great genius business mind as well as a rapper, and he had this idea he called it the proud to pay option. So yes, it's free, but basically it's donation based. So if you know, and people know and see that I'm working hard to put this together, they're free. They have a proud to pay option, because there's a portion of the people that know this, respect what I'm doing, that are proud to pay. I had one individual give me $30 a couple weeks ago. I had a person give me a couple bucks, whatever. The point is that they are paying to kind of offset some of the cost of the Monday night Kizomba, and they're proud to pay. They know that it takes money and effort, and they're more than willing to pay. But at the core of it is still free. Does that make sense? So it's kind of,
yeah.
They're raising their hand and saying, "Here, take some of my money, man. You deserve this."
And there are some people that want to see it succeed, so that they do ultimately have a place to go to from week to week or every other week. And sometimes it's easier just to make that payment to keep it going if they can afford to do that.
They recognize the economics of putting these things on. They make sure to patronize the venue. They make sure to buy drinks. They buy some food. They recognize that if they don't put some money into it, at some level, then it is going to fail. Especially the venue. I will gladly give them all the money that they give me if I were to come up short, to make sure that the venue gets their minimum, which they kill it. They do 3 or 4 times their minimum.
And what are the venues looking like as far as bar minimum? What are they asking in Dallas?
I think
usually, what's average?
I think average is 500. That's what I've been experiencing.
Okay. All right. That seems a little low for what a lot of the places here ask for to keep the doors open and running, but that's pretty awesome if you can find that.
Yeah, I mean, that's on the lower end. On the higher end, I've heard as much as 1,000 average.
Yeah.
One of the cool things from my venue that I have is it's a smaller place, but it can house about 40, 45 people snugly. 35, it's pretty, we have some space. But one of the cool things that I love that he said in the first one is that by far it was the kindest, most loving group of people he had ever met. And
I find that to be the case as well, usually.
And isn't that kind of neat? I find that to be so cool that it's consistently so. Like, despite some characters here or there that, personalities, whatever. The truth is, by and far, it is a very loving, giving, friendly community. And that made me super duper happy, because one of the things you have to do when you're promoting, especially the first one, if you're organizing something, you have to get the trust of everyone. You have to win over the venue, like make sure that the owner, the manager, that they have to trust that you're going to bring in quality people that are not going to rip their place apart, tear it up. The participants need to trust that the venue is going to be solid, the floor is going to be cool, the lighting, whatever, the drinks, the whatever. And they also need to trust that there's going to be, that the event organizer is going to actually put on a solid event, fun music, enough people to dance and feel like it's not a waste of their time. So there's a lot of trust that you're trying to win and get. So when he told me that, I was smiling for the rest of the night, because, and on top of that, hearing the feedback from the individual saying, this is a great venue, I love the music, thank you for doing this. The manager, the owner is fantastic, So everybody won each other's trust. It was fun. I loved it.
Isn't it always great to just kind of see, the accomplishments when you put forth all that effort? I think it's just amazing.
Yeah, that's when you feel like you're doing something good.
Right. So I think we've been on this podcast for a while. I think we should have a second one here in the future as some events that we have come up, and then we could kind of talk about it and see what, went right, what went wrong, and how can we improve. But so what events do you have coming up?
So, when is it? July. Give me a second here. July 27th, Saturday, July 27th. I'm going to have the next Azembora, which I was going to announce today. Today is Tuesday, May 7th. Which should be fun. And the last one I had 70. My goal for this one would be to have 150.
Nice.
DJs. I'm looking forward to it. Should pull in some more people from out of the city now that people have seen what I can put together. So it should be really, really exciting. And if I'm lucky, even Jennifer and her crew shows up. What?
Well, hey, I was going to mention that. I want to say that Cindy had started the Kiz Crash Pads in Houston, I happen to be one of the home Kiz Crash Pads here in Houston. We've had 2 crashes, I think, and one huge one, actually, where we had tons of people in my house. So is there going to be a spot for us if we come up in carloads in Dallas? We all know that traveling gets expensive during festival season.
We should work it out. I think we have a core group of people that are willing to open their doors. I know I can house.
Okay.
I'm going to house the DJs. So that's going to be a little, I'll personally be a little invested already, but I know that we have a large enough community of people that will open their doors. So,
and that is July what again?
July 27th. It's the last Saturday. Yes, the last Saturday. July 27th.
Okay. So, and I will offer the same. Everyone that knows me knows my house is a revolving Kizomba house. And go as you please.
Yeah.
We might find you all packed in one room or out on the dance floor, which has been redone. So we now have a nice new dance floor in my living room. But I also have a few events coming up too, so I'll throw those out there. And anyone that's coming from outside of Houston, you're more than welcome to stay. And I think you can explain the accommodations. You and Quanta got to come and spend some time here, and I think we had a lot of fun laughing with no sleep.
Yeah, party the last time.
It was great. Yeah, Christian actually put that one on, and we went out and supported. It was probably one of the best socials I've ever been to, as a local social, I would say. But so yeah, we have June 15th coming up. That's actually a big one for Houston. I am actually having Kizomba versus Compa Family Fun Day in the park. And we are going to have things for the entire family. That's from 2 to 6 p.m. I will let the location known here in a few, but you guys are going to absolutely love the venue. It's great. And the theme is going to be Fada. So my whole idea after having my weekender was to have more of a family fun, like you would if you were in the old days having a party at your house. But no matter whether you're at your house or you're at a venue, I want that same feeling, that close-knit feeling that everyone's a family having a party, and just having all right fun. So we're going to have some water activities, some other kid activities, the yard, giant life-size yard fun. We are going to have dancing. We're going to have some Angolan food. We're going to have some Haitian food. And we're just going to have a lot of fun. We might even have a little DJ battle. We have DJ Adrenalina, who's our hometown Angolan DJ. He's going to be throwing down some music for us on the Angolan side. And we also have DJ Skinny coming from New York. So he's our Haitian DJ, but he is very well known in the Kizomba Semba scene as well. So we're going to have a lot of fun from that. That's from 2 to 6. But then later on that night, we have Gerard and Eric and the rest of the team for the Estraga party. And so that location, I think, goes from 9 until 2 a.m. And that is something else that I like to do, is promote for all of the instructors. So I hope to see everyone go from family day to the fun at night. And of course, if you come from out of town, you can stay at my house, which I do not live that far, but we can carpool and it'll make things a lot better. It's not that bad, but people think I live in Kansas. It's not that bad. But then to move forward on to July, I have a very, very, very large event happening July 13th. We have 5 confirmed DJs coming in. This is a strictly Angolan, Kizomba, Semba throwdown. We are going from 10 p.m. till 7 a.m. in the morning. And it is a semi-private party. So once you're in before 2 a.m., you can dance and party your heart's desire till 7 a.m. nonstop. We will have some Angolan food for early in the morning. But that one is just going to be straight up dancing. Dance till your feet fall off. So hope to see everyone there. And we will actually be staying at the Marriott Marquis on that one because it is in the center of town and we don't want anyone driving. But there may be a possibility for a Friday night pool party. So if you guys can come to Houston and support that one, that would be great. So starting July 12th, the official party is July 13th. And then just dance until we can't dance no more.
Hands fall off.
Yep, till our feet fall off.
Awesome. Wow, you got a lot going on.
Yeah, and so do you.
Yeah, that's true.
And in between that, don't you have the MPK festival coming up?
Festival coming, when is that? Oh, I don't know.
The weekend of May 18th, right?
Weeks. Isn't a couple.
Right.
Not this week.
Yep, not this weekend. This weekend is in Las Vegas. So for the Shea Festival, I'm not sure who from Houston and Dallas are heading out there. Yeah, I'll be there as well. So if you guys have not bought your tickets yet, I think they did extend the deadline and maybe till today, I think. So.
Don't know. I wouldn't be able to make it. I won't be making it to either, but definitely the MPK for people that are local to at least Dallas or Texas should be.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the 18th, the weekend of the 18th, if I'm not mistaken, or 16th, something like that.
18th, 19th.
Yep, there we go.
19th, yep.
So we have a lot of events coming up. So Houston and Dallas people, we got each other covered. So hopefully Austin, San Antonio can hop on board here soon.
Yes, we actually had quite a few people from San Antonio come and Austin. Well, not so many Austin, but the next one will be a lot of Austin people. Hey. The DJ Art will be coming for the Azimbora. So Austin,
oh, nice.
But yes.
Nice. So, okay, lastly, I just have a quick question and then I gotta get going. But you are primarily urban there in Dallas, where we are primarily Kizomba Semba. How do you see that changing here in the near future with shifting of music and stuff?
Well, I personally play, depending on who shows up, 60 to 80% urban, maybe even closer to half if I have more of the Kizomba people show up, and then it's a fair amount, especially if they're coming from out of town. But in terms of just local, this generation, this group of people dancing is mainly urban. There is a good chunk of them that are starting to dance Kizomba, and I know Audi and Pam are pushing them to learn Kizomba, especially for the body movement and respect for the culture. And they're starting to be interested in it. I've had a fair amount of people actually say, hey, I really like Kizomba. When can you play some Kizomba? Can you play some Semba? And I'm blown away. But as they evolve and grow, it's usually the older ones that have been around at least a year or two. Most of them, some of them are starting to ask for it and want it and dance it. And it's blown me away because some people I didn't even expect. Personally, I feel it's a responsibility to make sure to play Kizomba, even if it's a small amount, to make sure that they start developing a ear for it, and eventually an awareness and a desire to want to dance it because they can start appreciating the sounds, the rhythms. I just feel like it's my personal responsibility, and I love it. I love it. I love the sound. Yeah. That's probably where I'm the most comfortable in right now. But I am playing quite a bit of it. And if for the urban dancers that don't dance it, that are hardcore urban, they can take a break. They can sit. They can go to the restroom. They can relax and socialize, and vice versa for the Kizomba dancers that don't want to dance urban but want to support, want to come out and have fun, because it is still the only place in Dallas that will play it 100%. Despite anybody requesting, which I had some people request recently for bachata or something, or salsa, I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. I'm sorry, but this is 100%. That's one of the benefits that come into my place is 100% everything under the Kizomba umbrella, Kizomba, Semba, urban, Tarasho, and all that. But that's what I'm doing to make sure that we're starting to educate. I feel it's an educational opportunity.
Absolutely.
And as long as people are on the dance floor,
I do believe. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just said that is what's happening is even when I'm dancing, I'm playing some Kizomba. It's like there's people out there dancing. So it's like the feedback is, we like it, play it. Okay, so I'll play. Like yesterday, I think my longest set was like 4 or 5 songs, which for the urban,
nice.
I'm sure they were a little like, hey, what the hell? But
yeah, but the reality is, without the Kizomba, they wouldn't have the urban, and same thing with Semba. So they have to learn it at some point,
or at least be just respectful of it, mindful of it. Like, oh, it's just the Kizomba,
right?
If they're hardcore fanatics of the urban, that's fine. I have no ill wills or any animosity towards that. However, it is the origin of the culture. It's still out there, and there's a good chunk of people wanting to dance it. I had somebody literally run from outside when I screwed up and threw that Semba song on. Literally run from outside, grab a guy, and got her on the dance floor.
That is awesome.
So, I'm trying.
That totally would have been me. But all right, so let's finish this up another day, and I appreciate your time, and hopefully we can get this word out there, some of the challenges, some of the things that are going great, and see what comments come from all this. Hopefully some positive and
I'm sure
constructive feedback.
Yeah, for sure. Either way, thanks for challenging me to put it out. Like, yeah, let's do it some other time. No, right now. Let's continue this conversation. Right now.
Because it was so raw, it was great points to talk about. And I think, people need to hear some of the things that are happening right now at, this moment.
And hopefully some people, some of the instructors or promoters, walked away with a couple of nuggets. I come at this from a marketer's perspective. So you can, and I'm willing to share this because everyone wins. I'm not trying to like hoard these secrets. They're not secrets. They just maybe you're not aware of them. Hopefully you can take something away that you can implement in your community or in your.
Right.
Anyways, we can keep talking.
I agree.
If we don't stop ourselves.
All right. So I look forward to the next conversation.
Take care. Have a good day.
All right.